Hi, everyone. I wanted to make an appearance for spring, and just kind of say hello and check in and talk about my spring collection. My cat Winifred's a bit chatty today, so she may be chiming in as well, but I'm doing my best to keep her quiet. I've got my tea, as always, from the cup my dad bought me. Um, Today it's just a simple English breakfast, nothing fancy, with lots of extra creamy oat milk. So, I don't know, that's just the mood I was in today. Um, so for 2026, I had mentioned to my clients in my newsletter that I wanted to scale down the Parfumerie a little bit. I wanted to focus on other things. I miss teaching for one thing, and I do have a membership, which we meet quarterly, and we kind of go over my seasonal rhythms and methods and loves, flavors, fragrances, routines, rituals, whatever you want to call it, with a little plant folklore sprinkled in, and a really nice sense of community that I created a few years ago. So we're kind of picking up the thread, but instead of meeting monthly this year, we meet quarterly, and I'm really enjoying it. I really enjoy interacting with my clients more. And but for spring, I did choose some what I think are among my most complex and lovely floral scents. So I'm offering Melangle of the Hares, which I think is lovely for spring. It's very fresh with a lemon jasmine theme, and it's inspired by the Welsh Virgin Saint. Saint Melangle of the Hares, who was the protectress of small wild creatures. And I talk all about this in the Perfume Story about the sainted scents, which I'll also link below. We recorded that now, what is that, 7 years ago? But it's the same story. And even though I'm not religious, I was raised Irish Catholic, and I've always had a fascination for the saint stories. I think because for me, I'm a lover of magical realism in literature and a lover of mythology and archetypes. And I see all of those things in some of the saint stories. So I have this book I absolutely cherish by Gisela Potter. And that's because I once worked at this gallery for children's illustrations, original children's illustrations for books, called Every Picture Tells a Story in Los Angeles. And I got to see this artwork in person. And it really was just so wonderful. I always wished I could have bought myself a piece of the art, but she's very talented, and it was out of my price range. I cherish the book. That's all I really need. So you should check out the book too, called Lucy's Eyes and Margaret's Dragon. And so two of my sainted scents, actually three of my saints and scents, are inspired by the stories in the book and the illustrations. But so we have Saint Melangle, and when I designed the scent, I imagined her cloak moving and like flowers blooming as she was protecting a hare that was on the run from some hunters, and she let it hide under her cloak for a minute. And so that one's always a spring scent. I usually feature that for spring. And then I have Saint Winifred, who is not, if I'm remembering correctly, not featured in the book, but it's from my own fascination with holy wells. Every time I am abroad, which it's been a while now, I haven't really traveled since my car crash, but I love to visit a holy well. And I visited a lot in England and Ireland, but the one I haven't yet been to, and one which I dearly would like to visit, is St. Winifred's Well in Wales. And that's the namesake of this saint. You can also see her for a moment in that wonderful movie, which I personally loved, called The Green Knight, which came out a few years ago. And wow, to me, that was the coolest. St. Winifred is also the namesake for my cat, Winifred. So we love her, don't we, Winnie? We love her iconography. And the well is supposed to be a healing well, as so many were. And they've become sites of pilgrimage for this reason. I always love to visit the wells in Ireland, and I like to leave an offering, a thank you, a little prayer, and These wells are pre-Christian as well as Christian, so they have a long history as being sacred sites. And so St. Winifred, I guess, it kind of reminded me of my travels to such places and, the road trips and the smell of the air and the rain and hopping in and out of the car. And so it's a really complex green floral with carrot seed and geranium. And I thought we could also all use a touch of the divine feminine while the world is going crazy. So those I'm tongue-tied, I'm sorry. Those are the scents on offer for spring, as well as my beautiful limited edition gardenia scent, Narcisse, which I've got right here. And to me, it's just heavenly. For those who like a white floral, I mean, I don't think there's anything better than the smell of real gardenia. And it was a real pleasure to be able to work with this. And I almost just want to keep this to myself and not even sell it to anyone. But I'm selling it, and it's available in my shop for as long as I can access this beautiful gardenia extract, which is true and real and absolutely stunning. So only 3 cents in the Parfumerie. And I'm not planning to make any new scents for 2026. I do want to work on other things. But hopefully my backlog of scents from 21 plus years will suffice. And I do have some new things in the apothecary. So I designed what I thought was a very beautiful 4 set anointing oil inspired by 4 of the royal stars. And this comes out of my personal love of astronomy and astrology. I love looking out my window for Venus, whether she's the morning or the evening star. I love knowing when I see Jupiter in the sky. Like I really find it very beautiful and timeless. And I love how it takes me out of, our smaller kind of crazy petty times and presents a bigger scale. And there is definitely something sacred in it to me. So the 4 royal stars anointing oil, hopefully you'll find them sacred and beautiful too. Um, I have a whole blog which I will post in the comments that goes over the symbolism, but the 4 royal stars are connected to 4 of the archangels historically mentioned, 4 directions, and the 4 seasons. And they kind of complement the Arabesque Aromas cycles and rhythms that I typically move through the year with in the way I release different scents in the seasons. I do different things. So, and also that's how my membership works. It's seasonal. So, I thought it would be really nice. I thought it would be like kind of a sacred container to kind of keep us focused on ourselves and on our life and our personal rhythms while crazy things are going on outside in the world. And a way to keep us grounded, but also maybe looking up a little bit. So I hope you'll enjoy those. They're in the Handmade Apothecary. And then I have 2 beautiful new essential oil sprays. So one is called the Simpler's Garden, which is a blend I've used for many years. Actually, some of my older clients may remember how it smells. I used to make a Simpler's Garden candle when I was making candles. I don't really do that so much anymore. It's a lot of work. Um, but yeah, so the Simpler's Garden spray, and then there's another spray inspired by my deep dive into medieval herbals and medieval gardens, which were very much planned according to the stars. So the star garden would have been planted based on old medieval almanacs, which I studied as an MLAS graduate student. It's one of my favorite topics is the connection between plants and stars. So you can read all about that on my website too, and I'm hoping you'll enjoy these new offerings. I'm also doing some card readings over at my sister YouTube channel, Crow's Corner. When I have the time, I love to just do a weekly card pull. And I'm planning to do a fire horse, kind of a deeper dive in the near future. So you can find me there, and the link for that will be below as well. And yep, so Narcisse is available to sample right now. And same with Saint Melangle and Saint Winifred from my Sainted Scents collection. Part of the permanent collection for this year, we also have Saint Christina the Astonishing, which I would say is an arabesque favorite, along with two others that I can think of. So I'm really glad that you all love my scented scents, and I'm so happy to make them a part of my spring collection. And I hope you'll enjoy all my offerings. And later on this spring, into early summer, I will have some classes available for purchase. I think I'll have them on YouTube under private. So they'll be like password protected. You can buy the class and then you'll have immediate access to it and you can enjoy that on your own. So that's something that's in the works. And then coming a little bit farther down the road will be a subscriber blog, like a separate blog to my blog that comes from my website about my products and offerings. A special subscriber blog about plants and the sacred. I think there's a lot to write about there, and it's another one of my passions to talk about and to explore. And I'd love to involve you in my deep dive on this topic and all of its nuances. So that'll be coming later in the year. And I have something special planned for summer too, aromatically. So stay tuned and please subscribe if you're not already to my newsletter, which is approximately twice a month, once to twice a month. Maybe one or two extra newsletters during the holidays or if there's a sale. But I generally stick to the twice a month newsletter format. So I think that's all for spring. And I will be back for summer. My summer collection will be out May 1st, along with the next of 4 gatherings for my membership. So it's not too late. If you subscribe before May, I can always send you our spring recording, and then you can join us for May and for August and for November for the next 3 meetings. So we'd love to have you there, and it's a lot of fun sharing some of my passions and pastimes with you all. And thank you, as always, for supporting my little sweet aromatic business, my handmade business. Thanks again. Have a good spring. Bye.